Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome to Shrigleytube TV, episode 105, and we've nearly got 4,000 subscribers, so thanks very much to you guys there. Can't believe it, 4,000 people, and probably 2,000 a week tune in on a Sunday night to watch. That's amazing, to listen to me waffle rubbish. I can't believe it. Anyway, thanks for the comments, as always. Really enjoyed reading them all, every single one of them. I hope you've had a good week. I've had a fairly productive week. It's not been bad at all. Bit warm for grafting, to be honest. It's even warm in Manchester, believe it or not. But anyway, that's all good. So yeah, hope you enjoy what you see tonight, and I look forward to seeing you all next Sunday at 7. Bye for now. Good morning, YouTubers. It's Monday morning. I've come in, thought, right, we need to make a plan so we can achieve this week. So the plan is, I haven't got one. Well, I have. I'm going to get this done today. I'll try and get this into a motor ready to go on a dyno for later in the week. This is the one going to Ireland that we started last week. I've done the bottom end, got the crank in. Oh, it's over there, isn't it? So it's there, done the crank, that's all in. Just got to do the head. I'm going to blast the head. I'm going to blast the timing cover, which you kindly sent over, because it's just a bit scruffy to put on a brand new engine. So we'll blast all that up and give it a good clean, get that ready to build. And then we'll get on with them carburetors. If you remember the carburetors that were all dirty on the 1150, we'll get them cleaned up and hopefully get a tune out of that today as well, because that's got to come apart and be rebuilt fairly ASAP. So we've got a plan for today, and then we'll just see what the rest of the week brings. Hopefully by Wednesday, I'll be in a position to drop off in the early afternoon, about 4 o'clock, and get stuck into the V8 Husky project, because that's stagnated a bit. And it's not far off at all. I mean, it's like head and sump, and or heads, should I say, sump, carburation, slave cylinder, bolt it all together, stick it in the back of the Husky, because I would still like to take that to National Weekend with me. Anyway, let's worry about what's in front of me, which is this 9:30. We'll get on with this, and I will report if anything exciting happens. Good morning, YouTubers. It's Tuesday morning. Didn't do any videoing yesterday afternoon. I just finished at 9:30, so I've got him to a stage now. He's just having a bath in the steam cleaning area, getting the remainder of the protective wax off his block, and then he can come on the dyno and get a run out of him. But I thought we'd better finish running this engine. This is the American engine, the Simon 1150 engine. Now, on Friday, when I tried to run it, I just got pops and bangs, and I did actually get it to run, but it just ran so badly. I thought there's something major wrong with that. So I've come to it this morning, and I think I can understand now why it doesn't run properly. If we zoom in on the one main jet I've managed to get out, it's absolutely cacked up with some sort of chemical reaction. Now, I have been told about this in the past. It's when you run the E85 race fuel in aluminium, it reacts and in the carburetors, and it's blocked everything basically. So before we can get a tune out of it, we have to take the carbs off, because I can't actually get the jets out. The top half of the jet, I mean, I've got one of them out, that's just come off. That's normally tight on the top of the emulsion tube, and you can see it's stuck in. So oh, I've just done it. I've done one of them. Right, well, let's have a look at that. How bad's that one? Still pretty khaki. You can see where it's all caught, and massive mains on it, because obviously it's running this special fuel. So I'll clean all these up, hopefully we can get them all out without taking the carbs off, and then we'll try and get a tune out of it. Right, okay, YouTubers, this is the 1150 with the gummy carbs. We've cleaned the carbs out, and it does appear to run half decent now. I've got to be honest, it is down on power. So the reason for running this engine before taking it apart was just to make sure it was fit, but there's something obviously not quite right with it, because I mean, it sounds well enough. It's holding about 88 foot-pound and 6.5 all of its vitals are good, but it's definitely down. I'd have expected, especially if it's 1020 millibar air day today, I thought we'd have seen at least 95 foot-pound out of it, being 1150. So we're going to pull it apart, because the plan for this engine is it's getting turned into a 1200. So I've done the block already. We've got the pistons to go with it. So I'm going to basically rehouse it all into a new block, and then we'll get back on the dyno with it quite quickly as well. I'm hoping to turn this around in the next sort of 2 weeks. So yeah, I'll get it apart. I'm going to pull it apart. If I see anything that explains why it's missing its torque, I will report. Okay, YouTubers, it's Tuesday afternoon. It's cracking the flags here, beautiful. And as a little treat to myself for working so hard on them carburetors and getting the tune out of that engine, I said to myself, I'll take this down to DG Motors and drop it off with them, and they can recharge the new air conditioning rod so the air conditioning works. So we're going to go down there and have a little joke with them, see if we can get them to charge it up. Drives quite well, this. Light clutch. Everything seems good. Let's just edge in and see what happens. Hiya mate, wonder if you can help me. I'm looking for a high performance vehicle centre.
Mate, we only deal with classic decent cars. Can you please take this vehicle out of my premises?
Mate, I booked it in.
Mate, I have a reputation to keep.
I booked it in with your Dean. He said you've got specialist insurance for dealing with high power
Dean!
vehicles.
Why have we got a pile of
Can't swear on YouTube.
Please mate, don't bring that in here. People are going to see. Just go put it in next door with the scrap cars.
Mate, this is a classic 6-speed manual 2.5 TDI Quattro Audi.
I could have put my finger through the wing.
Hang on,
I've
got your wings. Look at this, put your head there, look. Look at that, not many cars have got a classic 6-clock dash like that, have they, eh? You're jealous now, aren't you? You're changing your tune now, aren't you? Look, voltmeter, temperature gauge, oil temperature.
Andy.
Yeah.
Pack it out there.
Mate, can you do the aircon?
In front of that one there.
Alright, I'll leave the key with you, thank you.
That way it doesn't get seen in here.
Oh, you're just nasty. Just caught Dale doing some work. What's going on, Dale?
Well, Andrew. Mate, come in with a bad misfire and been running rough. Anyway, the customer was plumbing an area. Anyway, they took it out, broke down. AA come out to it, number one.
It's only 8 years old.
It's ridiculous, isn't it, mate?
What?
Anyway, to cut a long story short, come up with the injector fault. So I got the injector for it, put it in, still the same problem. Anyway, did a bit of testing, went through, convenience unity test, did this, did that. Going through a right load of stuff.
Can't hurry up, everyone's falling asleep.
I know, sorry.
See,
Anyway,
what are you telling me it's got a bad wire?
Basically, it had. I've not got the wire here now, but basically, because it got a bit coiled, I'll actually get you a picture.
All this plastic, look at it, it's horrendous. I will never own a car like that. Look at that. What's that, a turbo silencer?
It's ridiculous for the age of car, isn't it?
Well, it's just scrapping it.
What we ended up with was that.
Let me zoom in. What? A wire chafed through?
Just chafed through.
It was earthing.
It wasn't actually earthing because of the pulses on the injectors, because running a bit of a high voltage. It was just harking across and shorting stuff out.
Oh, mate. You've always been the master of fixing things, haven't you, that no one else can fix. Do you remember that car that was quite new and the car dealer brought it to you?
No, but look at me, I'm 28 years old, I look 60.
Mate, I thought you were 78. And remember that car that someone had spilled a can of Coke down the centre console and it had gone into the ECU and you found it? I remember that. Mate, I don't envy you, that is awful. Look at it, horrendous. I bet you can't wait to get your teeth sank into that beauty there.
Wait, mate, just, you know, old school.
Mate, brilliant.
That's just a bigger headache than this, but it's just
a
bit better.
You can fix it. Oh, what's going on in here? See you, pal, thank you. What's going on in here? There's a Ferrari on stilts. What's going on?
Absolutely.
You're doing. Look at the state.
Absolutely.
You got your pajamas all oily.
I know. What are we gonna do? Well, it's her car, so she can clean my pajamas.
Oh, at least you'll get more than a jam sandwich for your tea.
Drive shaft.
Are they front-wheel drive these Ferraris?
Yeah.
No way. Drive shaft. Couldn't you pay someone to do it? I mean, you're braver than me.
I've been trying to convince people to do it for weeks and it's failed. So
mate,
I'm just having to do it.
Mate, when's the stag do?
What stag do? Oh, you've missed it. You missed it. Did you not get the invite?
Hang on, I'm the best man, aren't
I? Best man at doing what?
That's not very nice, is it? So it looks like, bro. I love the plate. What's happened to this? It looks like it's stagnated.
Absolutely nothing, yeah. I just haven't had a chance. I need to get back on it.
Mate, you do.
We'll be done for the end of the year, but yeah, I need to get cracking. But things keep getting in the way.
I've just dropped my high performance Audi off for an aircon charge.
Priorities.
my little treat.
No, never mind the fact it's got no front end on it. Or
No, that'll go.
Any wings.
Oh yeah, they're going for paint nails. No, it's just a little treat to myself for working so hard, you know.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you believe that, you believe anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, well, thanks for showing us that,
Yeah.
Berge. When are you going to show us some decent classics? Have you got anything coming in?
Nothing exciting. Nothing exciting happening. I'm afraid.
Jeez.
Just all the usual. You've seen the one down there, man. Nice.
Yeah. Just another GT.
Similar MVB, isn't it? Yeah.
Right, all right, pal. I'll leave you at that. Good morning, YouTubers. It's Wednesday, about midday. Getting there. Finally feel like I've made a bit of progress this week now. This is the last 930 that we put together on Monday. I've steamed it all off, get the block nice and clean, get all the wax off it, fired it up, runs a treat as expected because it's a brand new engine. So that's nice to have in the out tray, or not in the out tray yet, but at least it's on and running. We'll let it do a few more cycles and then we'll wind it up at peak torque and give it the old dizzy swing, find out where it wants to advance. And then this one is going out without carburation and exhaust because the chap's going to put his own on it when he gets it back to his place. So that's running now. We might let it run again once it's cooled down. It's a bit warm at the moment because it's been on idle for a while. In here, we've got the 1150 from America that we ran yesterday. That's my stomach grumbling, saying feed me. This is still quite a fit, healthy engine, just missing a bit of torque. So I'm hoping there's going to be something pretty obvious as to what's going on there. But I'll take it apart and I'll report if I come across anything exciting. Bit of a shame because this is an 1150cc, which is what I was doing them all at one stage for the historic HSCC with the HRSR. But now that championship has backed off a bit, everything's 1040cc on a standard crank. So these are all being turned into 1200s now because we're now using the thicker liner and getting them to 1200s quite successfully, or reliably, should I say. So that's the plan with this. We're going to put him on a new block, which I've already done, and all these paraphernalia around it, and then hopefully we'll see the magic 100 foot-pound of torque, and we'll get this back in the post to America for him. So I'll take it apart. If I see anything exciting, I'll report. Okay, YouTubers, we've I think I found the reason why it was down on power. Don't understand why what's happened has happened, but basically it's lost some lift at top dead. In other words, the cam has retarded itself. I don't know why it's done that, whether it's just settled, but it's lost about 25 thou, which I think would be enough to upset it. I should have left it on a dyno and took this apart yesterday, and then we could have adjusted it, but it's coming apart anyway. So anyway, in hindsight, next time I get a situation like this, I'll check the cam time before taking it off a dyno. But I think that's where it's gone anyway. So I was just enjoying taking it apart, really. Obviously, I built this for Simon a while back. This is the one we did the test in, the Blue Imp, in my Blue Imp at Three Sisters. It was on YouTube. I put it on YouTube, God knows what episode. I'll try and put a flash picture up now so you can click on it if you fancy seeing it go. test completed. I've only done 5 laps and I'm absolutely knackered. Car survived well, really pleased with that. Seem to love a bit of pain. We'll turn the camera around. Yeah, everything looks right. Anyway, I'm back now. So this is the oil cooler, and I've decided that when these cars run water of like 65 degrees, this is adequate. But because this one's been getting a little bit on the hot side, not their fault, just purely that they struggle with the ambient. It races around a track called Lime Rock in America, and obviously it runs up to, I don't know, the ambient's probably 40 degrees when they're racing, so trying to get a target of 60 degrees water temperature is a bit of a tall order for him. So anyway, we've got a situation here where the oil is off the scale at 110. I like to keep the oil under 100 on an imp. I know that's not how the oil wants to be, because the oil wants to run hotter, but it's just the way the imp design with the growth of the block, etc. I like to try and keep them cool. So made a bit of effort. Obviously, as you can see, we put this big water hose on to try and get more water through the engine. I've been loving my dipstick that I made for him. Forgot about all this. Well, I changed that for a bigger one. Obviously, this engine is like my full-on singing, dancing one. So it's got the longer valve with the bigger bucket and the steel hollow billet cam in it. Obviously, all this is longer, hence it has this spacer plate that spaces the cam cover off so that the whole thing works. But twin 45 Delortos, and it had a wheel parry exhaust on it as well. Nice wheel parry exhaust. So it's got all the right ingredients to make it supersonic, but it just wasn't for some reason. So not quite sure what's gone on yet, but I'll keep digging, and maybe the answer will be there when I take it apart further. Perhaps the sprocket's loose on the, I don't know, it can't be. I don't know what's happened, to be honest, unless it left here like that, but I'd hate to think so. In fact, no, it didn't, because I dynoed it and it was good as gold, and I drove it in the car and the car felt awesome. It was quick. So yeah, don't know what's gone on there. We'll keep digging, see what we see. Anything major turns up, I'll let you know. Okay, YouTubers, I'm beginning to understand a little bit more about this engine. I am not 100% sure, but I think we've had external intervention. All this looks really good. It's not been over revved. All the valve caps are nice. All the shims are good. All the buckets and the followers are beautiful. All that's spot on, all that. Really happy with all that. And the oil looks golden, you know, like it's brand new. So that's good, mind you. I just put dyno oil in it actually, but it still looks clean, so that's a good start. Now, I think someone else has changed the cam time on this, and this is my little bit of detective work. I've just pulled the sprocket out, the nut out the end of the cam. You can't really see, but it's got red Loctite on it, yeah? So I thought, I never use red Loctite. I always use the green 648. I never use anything else. You know, I've got like it's like making a cake building a race engine. I have a set of rules as to what I use, and I never change from it. Unless it's on my own engine, where I try it to see if it has an adverse effect before I move it on to the customer. So I was just looking at I thought, well, I don't think that's me. I've never used red Loctite. So someone's changed the cam timing. And then I thought, well, I only use Loctite in 3 places on an imp engine. The cam bolt, the front bolt, and the flywheel bolts. That's it. No Loctite anywhere else. So I thought, well, if I built the engine in the same sort of day or 2 days, I will have used red on the bottom. If for some weird reason I've decided to use red, which I can't imagine. But this is definitely, I've just found a bit of green in the bottom there. Can you see it? That's definitely green Loctite, that's just been chased down to the bottom of the thread. So I'm pretty sure he's had a lot of tuning work done on the engine. He had it put on so it converted, so it ran on a different type of fuel. So I think they must have decided to mess around with the cam time. And that's all I can think anyway. That's anything that's changed. But I'll get the head off next and see if we can see anything. But like I say, its vitals were pretty good. It wasn't breathing, it wasn't smoking, and it wasn't making any odd noises. So I expect everything to be good inside there. But we'll have a look anyway. Right, okay, YouTubers, got the head off. Looks like they've been looking after this really well. I mean, I'm not sure, but the wheel strings are all mint. There's a lot of grey glue on the face, obviously. Number 3 is a bit leaner than the rest. Don't know quite what the reason for that is for, but it's all looking quite good. The hone is still mint on the board. obviously not had it warm or any grit go through it or anything. So that's all pleasing to see. It's obviously done a bit. Nice even carbon on top of the pistons. A bit leaner on number 3, not quite sure what the reason for that is. But yeah, no, it's looking good, that. I'm confident that we can, well, obviously we're going to reblock it, but I'm confident the bottom end will be good, if you know what I mean. So we'll get into that next, get the pistons out and the rods out and have a look at it, and then we'll put it all in a big box, and then we'll have to get cleaning the other block up and start working out compression ratio, etc. Because obviously we're going to be going up from 72.5 mil bore to 74. So it gives us another 50cc. It's like 12.5 cc a pot, so we'll have to work out what the ratio is going to turn out at and go from there. YouTubers have come down to see Bergerac because...
You've come to get a bit of taste, haven't you?
He came past me this morning on this bike misfiring and popping and banging. He's got a resident expert in it.
The fact that you know nothing about these bikes just shows that your naivety with old stuff. Well, if it's not Hellman Imp, you're not interested.
I just said, make a few pointers. Show me some engineering that's going to excite me. And he just showed me a load of pointers, like a steering damper. Show us that thing about...
It's got no frame, no front frame.
So there's
the engine acts as the frame member.
So it's just at the top?
And then a triangulated rear frame bolted off the back.
So, and what year is this?
Well, this is 52.
But they were like that
These came out in what, 46? 47.
And what the brakes at the front, you were saying it's got...
2 sets of twin leading shoes.
Yeah, and at the back?
Look at that fancy arrangement up here. You know, it's all very clever on a balance beam.
Oh, it is a bit snazzy, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's happening at the back?
More dampers here, 2 sets of brakes at the back.
What is it, rigid wheel and then... Oh, it's got dampers up there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Years ahead of the time. They were the fastest bike in the world for 26 years, I think.
How many horsepower has it got?
About 50.
And how many cc is it?
1,000 V-twin.
1,000? Oh, it's a good size then, isn't it?
Yeah.
500 a pop? It's got a bit of stroke. Is it shaped?
Yeah, they do. But no, do you know what? It's good. What degree is the V, Dave?
I think it's 50, isn't it?
Is it 50 degree? Yeah.
50 degree.
Which is something we really should know.
Yeah, we really should know that.
Well, especially as you're trying to time it up.
Yeah. Well, they were just years ahead at the time. I mean, it's geared. You look in the handbook, it's geared to do 54 mile an hour in first.
Really?
Which is just mad compared to, everything else that was around in period.
Seat looks comfy, give it that.
Yeah, and stuff like the rear wheel is removable. It's on a Tommy bar. The mudguard folds up so you can get the rear wheel out without any tools.
It's hinged
Tommy
there.
bar on the back, hinge up. All your brake adjusters.
Wow.
So you can get the wheel out, no bother. Same on the front.
I like the carburettor, it looks like a proper thing, that.
Well.
So what's going on here, Berge? We're doing a bit of
We've
timing.
got a bit of a misfire issue, so that's what we're just double checking.
And it's on magnetos.
We've got a spare mag to try on it.
Oh, have you?
Unknown condition, hopefully working. We'll find out. But been through it and just can't seem to work out why it's missing occasionally under load on one pot.
Just that rear pot, is it? I wouldn't even know where to start to try and help you, mate. I just fix old Audis these days.
Old Audis and Hellman Imps.
I do like
one of those. You're not interested.
I do like the brake. Can you operate the brake again for me? That's smart, that. Yeah. It's a lovely bit of kit, mate.
Yeah, they are.
Have you had it a long time?
Yeah, I've had it about 10 years.
Oh yeah.
The other one was a 500 single, a Comet.
Right.
I had one of those before, and I was in the club, and the guy who had this was clearly getting too old to kick it over. So, but he wanted it to go to someone that was going to use it rather than it sit in someone's front room, which is where these all end up.
Right. So what do you do? Stick him on a Vespa or something?
Yeah.
You can just imagine.
So I sold my Comet.
Just imagine the car salesman like, I've got this little scooter here, Piaggio 50 electric start. I'll do you a straight swap for your lovely old bike.
So I sold my Comet to a guy in France and bought this. And
That's nice.
It's my baby.
Does Sarah go on the back?
She does. She loves it. Yeah.
She does. Yeah. Brilliant. Right. Well, I hope
you need to get a bit more taste. You could have a nice old brick bike like this.
Yeah.
Forget your VFR.
I know, but
who wants one of those?
I know it's a bit of a iffy situation. The wife isn't very happy and wants me to sell it. But
I've seen the way you drive on the road. So.
That's just encouraged me to keep it and do my license and test. Yeah. Anyway, lovely that, mate. I hope you fix it.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Well, hopefully you'll hear it running.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it run. It sounds It'd be a good thump that when it's 500cc a pop. No, just noticed something. See, it's the rear pot that's misfiring. The exhaust pipe's a different colour.
Slightly.
Is it running hotter?
Don't know.
Is the exhaust pipe, is the cylinders
Same.
fired on the same magneto?
It's same mag, yeah. Points open twice.
There's no way one pot could be retarded and the other one ahead?
No, well that's what we're checking now.
Right.
To make sure that, yeah.
Right, looks like you've got an expert on the job anyway.
Yeah, well,
Right.
someone.
Someone.
Someone that's not me. That
Well, hang
can blame
on.
when it all goes wrong.
Hang on, he's got an invite to your
You
wedding,
know,
I've just
it's like
found
a
out.
Swiss watch behind that timing cover. It's dangerous.
Don't skip
Sorry,
the subject.
what did you say?
He's coming to your wedding. I'm not.
Well, you're at the Imp National, so whose problem's that?
Right, okay, that's
Yeah.
fair enough. Morning, YouTubers. It's Thursday morning. I'm in the business end of Simon's 1150. Just been having a look at the crank and deciding what I'm going to use in his new engine, etc. Now, it's all looking quite good, to be honest. The bearings are all... they're not as nice as Benoit's, I will be honest. They're just a little bit of, like... I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like just polishing or movement. Almost like it's had a tiny bit of oil starvation, but I don't think it has. It could possibly be because this oil cooler, if you look at the temperature sticker's gone off a scale at 110. I do like to try and keep the oil sub 100 degrees. And obviously that oil temperature is dependent on the temperature of the water, because the water returning from the radiator cold or cooled goes through this first and then into the engine. So that should keep the oil basically 20-25 degrees higher than the water temperature. So if you're running sort of 60 degrees water, we're running 85 oil. But obviously because these guys are cruising around in Lime Rock in America, it's, you know, the ambient's 35 degrees quite often, so it's really hard for them to run a cool temperature. We could almost do with a refrigeration unit on the cooling system or something like that, because it's just really hard for them to achieve the target. So it's not bothered it, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade this to the next size up oil cooler. They're doing some more work with regards airflow through the radiator. They've had a bit of help off Mike Dent, who's looking into ways of getting the air through the valve for them a bit cooler. Obviously, we know what we run in the CTCRC over here, but over there, just that extra few degrees ambient obviously makes it harder to run the sort of target maximum 65-70 degrees water when they're out racing, especially in a long race. So these rods and pistons I've left inside the block because we're not using them pistons or them rods or that block. We're going to use this crank in the new block with new rods, new pistons, and that cylinder head. So it should all cross over quite well. It shouldn't be a drama to sort out. I'm going to try and sort it quite quickly because they are keen to get it back in the car and get testing, because they've got their big historic festival middle of August, I think. So yeah, they're keen to get the engine back. It's actually amazingly efficient. When it leaves England, it takes like 24 hours and it arrives in America. It goes by air freight, so it won't be too long before we've got this on the dyno and running. Well, that's the plan anyway. Now, I did speak to the customer last night and I explained my little detective work. I said, you know, someone's had the cam timing out of this or the cam front pulley bolt, because it has red Loctite on, and I've never used red Loctite. And he said, yeah, we had it retuned by a company who did a lot of work developing it with the different type of fuel. So I think realistically, running that little, it was basically running more lift on the exhaust at top dead centre than it had on the inlet side. So I don't know whether something had got confused or whatever, or they had a strange theory, but it was never going to work. So it's not a problem. We can sort all that out when we come to put it back together, and hopefully we're going to stay with the normal pump fuel now rather than messing about with this posh race fuel that seems to turn the carburetors to mush if it's left in there any length of time. So yeah, we'll get this boxed up now, crack on with the new block, getting it cleaned, get the crank going around properly, and yeah, get a dry build on early next week. Next, I think what we have to do realistically is we've got Ed coming for a flywheel skim because he's had a failed clutch, and I've got to run that 930 because I want to run that and get it in the out tray. I thought we could do a dizzy swing on it together. I'll try and set the camera up so you can see how the advance and finding a sweet spot is when it's wide open throttle at peak torque. Right, okay YouTubers, I'm going to set the timing on this little 930. I thought we'd do it together. Just for the basics, for the people that don't fully understand. We've got a spark, we've got compression, squashing the fuel and air. We set the spark off before the piston gets to top dead center so that we can make the most of the burn to push it down. So as we move this is called a distributor, and we're going to move it in relation to the crankshaft position. It's on a skew gear there, so it goes round like that. So as I move it this way round, the spark goes basically earlier and earlier before the piston gets to top dead. And as I move it in the direction of rotation, which is anti-clockwise, it retards the timing, so the spark is later and later. So it's basically sparking the ignition in the cylinder after the piston's passed over top dead, which gives us less time to burn the fuel and gas air and get the energy from it. So because it takes time for the burn to happen, we start it off earlier. But if we start it off too early, before top dead, it goes bang before top dead, and you get something called detonation, which is where it goes off beforehand, and you get like a knocking noise, which is like, it's hard to explain, but if you look up deflagration, which is a burn, and detonation, which is where the speed of the flame front, because the cylinder pressure is so high, because they're increasing, because it's not rocked over top dead, you get like this subsonic boom, whatever it's called. It just doesn't like it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep it dead simple. We're going to set the ignition timing. Now, it's dead hard to do in your car, because when you're driving it wide open throttle, which is where you need to find out where it's happy, you can't reach the distributor because you're driving. So on the dyno, it's really easy for me. I just literally look at the torque and I hold it wide open throttle, which you'll see in a second, and I grab hold of this here. I've got it lightly pinched by the clamp so I can move it, and what I'll do is I'll start by retarding it until the power drops off. So we're making the spark later and later until the power really drops off. Then I'll come back with the advance until I see it peak, and then I'll back it off again until I see it drop. And then what we'll do is we'll just creep up on it a little bit more, put a bit more advance on it, so we know we've got a bit of a safety margin, because we're running like 70 degrees water, everything's perfect, nice 5-star fuel or whatever, whereas on the road it could be a really hot day, you could have got some nasty Asda fuel or something in it, and all these different factors can make it start to detonate. So we're going to give it a safety margin so it will run more. Now my prediction is, with this 930, with the 10:1 compression ratio and the nice shaped chamber, which I think this chamber is a better chamber than the imp chamber, because it's all opened out on the spark plug side, so you get a better burn, a better area for the burn to take place. The more efficient the combustion chamber, the less ignition advance an engine requires. So like all old stuff with the spark plug stuck in the side of the cylinder, it will run 40 degrees of advance, so it fires the plug 40 degrees before the piston gets to the top, whereas this, I suspect, with that good chamber, half decent compression ratio, very mild camshaft, so it's got a high dynamic compression relatively. I think 25, 26 degrees will be where we'll find it happy. And what I'll do is, when I've run it, I'll then get the timing light, put the timing light on it, we'll do it all on camera, and we'll see how much advance it's got together. Right, I'm going to fire it up. I'll just pause the camera. Health and safety, glasses, air defenders, fresh air. Right. Okay, YouTubers, that's that engine now. We'll nip the Dizzy up, paint mark it, right on the front cover, what max advance it wants. Doing roughly about 57 foot-pounds. I do suspect it's a bit lean. It will probably do more, but that was just an old carb that I put on, because this particular engine, the guy's going to put his own carbs on it and exhaust manifolds. So we're not worried about that. That's all staying here with me. As long as the engine core is correct, that's all that concerns me. Anyway, as you've probably guessed, when I do these videos, I don't really rehearse them. So sometimes things come out of my mouth a bit muddled. So what I'll say is, I'll just cover a couple of points that I think weren't quite correct. When I was talking about the burn speed, I talked about deflagration and detonation. Now, deflagration is what we want, which is a controlled burn, where the speed of the burn is subsonic, which means it's slower than the speed of sound. When it burns gently, it just pushes the piston down. This is just roughly correct, not 100%. Obviously, if you're highly intelligent and like a professor watching this, you're probably shaking your head and probably going to turn off. But for the basics out there who just want to learn a little bit about what goes on in their engine, this is what happens. So when we advance the cylinder, the ignition timing, so much so that it sparks the ignition before the piston gets to the top, so the piston's on its way up, we spark it, it starts to burn, it starts to go off. Because the cylinder pressure is still increasing, there's a chance of something called detonation. And detonation is where the flame front goes from being subsonic to faster than the speed of sound. And when it goes bang really aggressively, and it has something called because it's subsonic, it's so fast, it's faster than, it's supersonic. You get a shockwave, and it's that shockwave that breaks the ringlands. When you see an engine that's been detonated and you take the engine apart and you see the ringlands are broke, the bits of aluminium between the piston rings, that is detonation that's done that. If there's a lot of heat involved, you'll see the top of the piston being pockled, and often the edge will be nibbled. Any sharp corners where there's low surface area and the heat can't get away, it picks on those areas. Obviously, we try and stay well away from it because it's a real bad thing for the engine. So there you go. There's the basics of what I was trying to say before when I didn't rehearse it. Now, when I just put the timing light on, which I wanted to show you, you could see the advance and retard. You see the white marker. As the engine went faster, it came and lined up with the 25 degrees, which is the delay that I'd set in the timing light on the wall there. Now, the reason we have advance and retard in the distributor is, if you think of it as the burn speed being a constant, although it's not quite a constant, it's affected by a lot of things, but it's basically constant. But the faster the engine goes, the less time we've got to burn what's in the cylinder. So therefore, the faster it goes, the earlier, the more ignition advance we can put in it. Hence why you saw the distributor's got bob weights in the bottom of it. And when you saw the white mark on the front pulley moving around, what was happening was the bob weights centrifugally move out and advance the ignition timing, which meant that we saw the white mark move relative to the front pulley. Because when you type 25 degrees into that unit on the wall, the gun, the snap-on timing light, what that does is it reads the spark going to the plug, delays it by 25 degrees, and then flashes it. So it just saves you having to have loads of markers on your front pulley. Quite hard to explain, but hopefully you've got the basics. We'll get this off. We'll get on with the next job. Popped outside for a little handy treat. I have to do these little, we'll call them little goals. You achieve something in the workshop, and you have 20 minutes doing a job. Now, the other night I started changing the top link on this because it had play in it, and it was time for the MOT, and something I wanted to make a point of. This is aluminium, and this long pinch bolt, an absolute monkey to get out. You have to get heat on it and all sorts. So what I do is apply generous amounts of this gear. Now this is expensive stuff, but that will always come out in the future now. So got that. Been and we've got a new bumper. Gary's painted the wings. I did try to straighten the bumper, but it's too badly bent and marked, so they're not there. I got a second-hand one for it. That's going to get painted along with the new wings. Dale's done the aircon, ice cool inside, So hopefully we'll have it on the road for the start of August. YouTubers, something I've been putting off, to be honest with you, but the deadline for getting this engine ready is getting closer and closer. The chap's coming over all the way from Jersey. He's got his ferry booked, so I thought, probably going to have to make an effort to sort this out. So you may remember us knocking with a big hammer some pistons out of a Ford Essex V6 engine. Now, I'm selling it to him as a kit of bits because himself and his daughter are going to build it into like a fast road engine. So initially, I had a really clean set of plus 60 thou pistons, and I had this old block, and the idea was to bore the block, hone it to suit these pistons and rods, and give him that as part of the kit with the crankshafts and the cylinder head and the camshaft, etc. But what's happened is I've gone to bore the block that looked like it had been under the sea for half of its life, and it's actually behind me here. I don't know if I can show it to you, but the bore that I got to plus 60, it still had little pockle marks in it. So I thought, you know what, scrap that. And I've got another block now. This block is standard, but if you look at it, you'll see it's got liners in it. Can you see the liner that's been let in? So that I've measured it all. That's going to be a good block, that. So what I've done is I bought a set of standard new pistons, some genuine Hepalites from Thornton's. So they're nice set of standard pistons. But I need to put them onto a set of rods. Now, obviously, I don't want to disturb these because these are a good set of pistons and rods with the 60 thou pistons on. So I'm left with this mess here. So I've done one of them. Obviously, we had to hammer them a bit to get them out, but when we hammered them, we made sure we didn't touch the rod in any way, shape or form. You know, these are very delicate pieces, these. So I know it looks like absolute scrap, but when I push these out, basically, this is what we call a push fit location. So normally you've got a circlip each side, but because we're in the days of mass production in the 80s, what they started doing was making it so the pin was a shrink fit on the little end. There's no bearing in there. So when you come to fit them, what you do is you heat the end up there, and then you literally slide the pin in. We'll go through it together, and then as it cools down, it contracts and grabs the pin. So the pin doesn't spin in the rod. That's what I'm trying to say. The pin purely spins in the piston. So you can see there's some those little oil grooves there. They're designed to trap the oil and help lubricate the pin as it goes backwards and forwards, up and down. Well, as it goes round, it sort of moves in like this sort of motion, as you can imagine. As it swivels, should we say, as it goes over top of the centre and back down again. So it works quite well. And these engines are great, these Essex engines. You look after them, they just last forever. But one of the problems we always have with them is, because it's quite a short engine, the journal is quite narrow, the big end journal. So the bearings get a bit of a hard time, and quite often you'll see these housings have been resized, because what happens is when the bearing wears out, they knock out and it pulls them oval. But I bet because this is unstandard bearings and the bearings are all good, although it looks like it's been underwater, I bet when we pull it apart, I bet when we measure it, when we put the caps on, they'll all be cracked. Press now, so I've got the piston is supported by a hollow tube, and that's so that as the gudgeon pin comes out, it can go into the tube with that, got somewhere to go. And then this is, you can't believe I just machined that, but that's like a little pin with an index on it that goes inside the hole inside the gudgeon pin, and that's a smaller diameter than the hole that it's going into, so that when it goes through, it doesn't broach the piston or the more importantly the bore where the connecting rod has the little end go through it. So it's just, I have to do this manually, it's not an electric one. You just basically pump it, and you can probably just about make out, although the camera's shaking everywhere, that it's going through the hole. Quite a bit of pressure, then eventually it pops out the other side and we get the next one. Richard has rang me, dragged me out of the workshop, especially to ask, what was it you wanted, Richard? Was it?
I just want some words of advice. And oh no, actually no, not advice. I want an opinion.
Okay.
I just want your opinion.
What have you been doing, mate?
Well, been resetting the ignition timing on one of these, which is a real pain to do. It has a magneto with an advanced retard unit on one side,
Bob weights.
with bob weights.
Oh, that's lovely, isn't
Very
it?
clever. Tapped onto a spline on the end of your mag.
So we can move it round a tooth.
So no, you can't. No, it's on a. It's not. It's sorry. It's on a taper, not a spline. So you can set it wherever you want.
Oh right, so we can advance
Infinite, but it's a pain to
access.
find top dead center and do all that sort of thing. You can't put a timing light on it.
Right. So,
So,
you
so I'm
want
going to fire it up.
you want my
and
expert
all I
opinion?
want you to tell me now it's running again with the correct timing, whether you think the issue is electrical or fuel,
Right. Okay.
because it's coughing and farting.
Like a good one.
Like a good. So this is now you're videoing. It won't start first. First tip. So it tips over on two very happily with the occasional. Get the occasional pop, right? If I try and open the throttle quickly. Sometimes you get nothing and then it just dies.
Sounds lean to me, that. Spitting back through the carb. Give it a rev. Is that better?
Do you want to try the other car?
Well, you said it was the rear cylinder that wasn't working.
Well, we don't know what it is, do we? It was spitting back at my leg on this side just then.
Sounds lean to me, that, mate. Good morning, YouTubers. It's Friday morning. Just admiring my classic Audi outside, aren't you, Ed?
I'm here again.
Ed loves coming here. Ed, what's been going on, mate? You've been having a right old do, haven't you? We've had clutch slipping issues.
Yeah, massive. Been through that many clutches this year. It's untrue.
So we found out what's going on because
eventually we found out what's going on. It's actually these covers.
yeah,
I thought I'd bought brand new ones.
yeah.
But they've been remanufactured.
You're joking.
Well, it's now been discovered, and this surface area had been skimmed in the remanufacturing
All right, to make it lower.
to make it lower. So we were putting these competition plates in,
Yeah,
and of course all the bike was right at the top of the clutch.
yeah.
And when you're actually rallying, you've always got the foot on the clutch a little bit, looking for the quick gear change.
Yeah, yeah.
So with it being right at the top, I was burning the clutches out in no time.
Right.
After one event, I did about 5 with
Well, it won't
one.
have the correct pinch on it either because it's like it needs to be, near, middle to bottom, doesn't it? So you've got the correct pinch on the friction plate.
So I spoke to everybody, and the only chap that actually made sense besides yourself and
Oh, that's
was
kind.
was Mike Dent. Mike Dent gave me some great information.
Right.
He put me in touch with Questmead, although for anything from Questmead you've got to go direct through Mike Dent.
Oh, yeah,
Because I
trade
had-
only, aren't they?
Yeah, because I had this problem with it, Questmead were interested in the technical problem. And of course, Alan Brown,
Yeah,
he's
top
a big
bloke.
he's a big int man, so he's taken this
Right.
and cradled it right through the whole process. So what we've found is the 2 covers I've sent him, he's had remanufactured.
I know. I didn't even know these were available. That is stunning. It's brand new, isn't it? It's all brand new.
Well,
Brand
it's-
new sensor, brand new diaphragm.
Yeah, but it's my old surface, my old
Yeah, the
covers.
actual cover is, but all the parts that are moving
so
and
they've
wear.
put all new parts in, and they're not that expensive actually.
No,
Mike Dent Mike Dent can give you a price on them, and well worth it instead of.
Yeah, well, that looks a bit
Yeah.
looks absolute bee's knees.
So we've got that done. They've actually made me this paddle as well, which they've made it thicker.
Right.
So that sat on there now should take the pedal more to the bottom.
Yeah, so what we've done is this morning Ed's come with some flywheels, and if you can just about make out, I've just done a 15th-hour recess on that one because Ed's pretty keen to get the car back together, and if the clutch doesn't disengage with this thicker paddling, we've got this as an option, haven't we?
Yeah, and yeah, so time's running out. We'll have to get it in this weekend.
Me and Connor are just talking about naked women on the phone.
Oh my god.
So we're going to have to get it in this weekend because we've got a big event coming up next. Not this weekend, the following weekend. It's a 2.5 day event. So
Wow, where's that?
it's around the Shrewsbury area.
Oh, brilliant. Is
Yeah.
it going to be dusty?
Don't know yet.
Hopefully.
No, in fact, there's a bit of rain forecast.
Oh, is
So,
there?
Yeah, for next weekend, so it won't be too bad.
Excellent.
But we've sorted the dust problem out. so
Yeah,
it doesn't
you've got
matter.
that under control now, haven't you?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Excellent, Ed. Well, thank you very much for being on Shrigleytube and talking us through your clutch issues. Let's hope they're all behind you now, because this setup, when it's correct, does work. But that makes perfect sense now. If you've had, you know, if the clutch has been machined back and has had the correct pinch in the first place, it never stood a chance, did it? Once it starts slipping, that's it. They wear, and the next thing is it's all gone.
So it's been a big learning curve, and Questmead, in fact, has become very interested into the thickness. You actually need these
Yeah, to make it all work properly.
with a Laycock curve clutch cover.
Excellent.
So yeah, please now.
Brilliant. Good luck. Okay, YouTubers, it's Friday dinner time. I'm about to break off and go on my jollies for the weekend with the Winklers to a little caravan in Wales. So I'm very excited about that. So what I was going to say was I thought better do a bit more on this Essex engine because the chap's coming over and he needed to know if these rods were going to be any good. Now, I chose to use these scabby rods, the ones that were all horrible yesterday. You saw them before I put them in the acid. They've had a wire wheel. I've bolted all the caps on, and I've measured the diameter inside here, and they're all crack on. They've had no hard time. Now, I chose to do these rods, believe it or not, over a set of cleaner rods like the ones that were on the plus 60 thou pistons because they've never been raced. When I pulled the engine apart, the bearings were worn, but none of them had spun, and they were standard size. What you got to remember is these engines are so old now. Back in the day, everyone was reconditioning them. They were getting cranks ground and, you know, all the rest of it. And a lot of people interfere with the size of the main, the big end tunnel size there. So what happens to them is if the engine knocks out, so say it was like 1985 or something, and your Ford Granada, you've come back from your old day, the oil pressure drops, it started to rattle. You couldn't get it fixed for a week, so you drove it to work listening to it rattling. When they rattle, it knocks them out of rounds, so they end up with an oval hole, because that knocking noise is the bearing clearance catching up. You know, every time the piston changes direction, it's got to catch up to the crankshaft again. So that knocking noise knackers them. And they're a lovely rod, to be fair. It's a proper steel forging, you know. Little oil squirter there for the thrust side of the piston to lubricate. They're a fantastic rod. And I like the location as well. They're on not a hollow dowel, they're on a roll pin. So they're not on like a swollen diameter on the bolt. They're actually permanently located on the rod. And yeah, they don't seem to shuffle, or for the RPM involved, they don't have a problem anyway. Right, where was I? So remanufacturers back in the day, your Granada would knock out on the way home from your holidays or whatever, and you'd have to run it for a few days, knock in, and then they'd recondition it, and they'd go, right, we'll resize your rods because it's not some oval. So what they do is they put them on this machine, and this face here, they'd put it on a grindstone and take 5 thou off it, which would then make that circle smaller, but it wouldn't be round because obviously it'd been knocking, so it'd knock the rod out of shape. So then they'd put the honer through it and re-hone it, and obviously you were just dependent on how good the guy was doing it. It's not like the factory where they were doing it all day in, day out, so they were spot on when they left the factory. But this block, obviously, because when I took it apart, I could see that it was on standard size bearings. Yes, they were worn, none of them had spun, The crank was worn, but you know, it hadn't knocked out. It wasn't a rattler. It had just been left full of water, which was a shame. But anyway, the point of what I'm saying is I knew that these rods would be a good set of rods to start with. They weren't a racer rod. They were just had a standard life in a standard engine. So when we come to them, all I've done is clean them up. I've measured them all. They're all absolutely crack on. They're all dead round. And did some weighing as well, just out of interest really, because it's not a racer, but it's a fast roadie. And because it's a matching set of rods, they're all within 1.5 grams of each other. I was pretty impressed really. The pistons as well. I got a set of genuine Hepalites. A lot of pistons have been remade abroad and are available for these engines. I'm not knocking them, they will work and all the rest of it, but these are a proper set of Hepalite PowerMax pistons. And the first thing you'll notice about them is if you buy a set of I think they call them counties or something, they're modern ones that you can buy. But at room temperature on the new modern type ones, the piston, the wrist pin or the gudgeon pin, you can push it in and out. But these are all solid, you know, and that's because when the piston's running temperature, there'll be a nice clearance. It'll make it a nice quiet engine. I'll just show you. If I fire the blowtorch up and just literally heat the aluminium just to get the piston temperature up a little bit. The pin will become free like it would be at running temperature in the car. That's not limit. Oh yeah, there you go. So look, see, it just comes out beautifully. See, they're made proper, these. Just lovely that. So if you can imagine, if it does that at room temperature, when it gets to running temperature, the clearance will be, you know, we're only talking a thou or two, but it's just not right. That's how they're meant to be, like that. Room temperature, can't push them. Get a bit of heat on them. So it's not dead hot, it's just like 30, 40 degrees. Moves nicely. Anyway, right. Got on with myself enough about this. But look at that. No wonder these things don't rev. 1.5 kilograms reciprocating mass. You know, considering the Hillman jobs down at like, well, our best one is 500 grams combined, piston and rod. So, yeah, a lot of weight to change direction. So, don't rev your Essex engine too high. Just keep it to under 5.5, 6,000. It'll be fine. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set the camera up and I'm going to show you how to put the pin in. It's dead easy. We just heat this end up here so it gets hot and then drop it over, push the pin through, boom. That contracts. And this is what I've just done. So you can see, look how stiff that is. Now it's cooled down a bit. Is it still got a bit of temperature? It'll go even stiffer than that when it's cool. So what I do is these holes lubricate the little end diameter. So whilst we've got the opportunity to, because he might build the engine saying it could be like a month before he runs it. So I'll put some engine assembly lube in there while it's warm and it's oozed down so it feels lovely. That'd be nice, that. So yeah, just got to repeat that 6 times and then we'll be good to get on with the next stage. Is probably clean and polish the crankshaft. Right, okay chaps, we're going to start by heating the piston up a bit more just to get some temperature into it so that pin doesn't go stiff on me. Now the important thing to remember is that I completely forgot to mention a minute ago is these are handed, so spur me hand, ouch. Right, see it's got an F there. Can you see the F on there? That's F for front, because obviously the rod has to go in a certain orientation. It's got front written on there because it has the oil squirter to the thrust side of the piston. Sorry, I'm down here right now. So the oil squirter's there, can you see it? So what we'll do is make sure we go front to front. Now there's a chance that these pistons also will have the pin offset to one side. We won't go into that now because that's another 10-hour chat and waffle about why. So as you can see, just heating this gently. Camera set up. Not bad. You can see what's going on here. So keep moving it round, just keeping the heat on the top section of the rod. Obviously put a bit more into the top there because that's a bit denser. I don't want to turn it blue, I just want it to expand. And what we do is we look at this, so I know that's the front because it's got F on it, so I'll put that to the front. I do this for about a minute tops, and then when I put it in, even though I've got the pin through it, there still should be enough time to centralise the rod in the middle of the piston before it contracts and grabs hold of it. And once it's grabbed hold of it, it's on then. The only way to get it off is to press it off again. Obviously you can't heat it again because you'd heat the pin and the rod at the same time, and they both expand at the same rate and the pin would still remain tight, which it obviously has to because, you know, that's how it works in the car. It's just starting to churn colour a bit now. So get the front to the front, that's the front. Drop that in there. Centralise it. Turn that noisy thing off. And then what we do is we get the goo. Bit of lube in there. This is just Torco engine assembly lube, great stuff this. Really sticky, hangs around. So as the heat transferred, you see it started to move then. So there you go, beautiful. Front to front, feels lovely that. Just let it, as the heat, the assembly will melt and it'll make its way into the little groove in the piston. I'll show you another one. Oh, these don't have a groove, that's interesting. Right, it's just purely lubricated by these two holes then. Just splash off the crankshaft. Right, wonderful, that's nice. So 4 more to go. And what I was going to say was, you might be asking yourself the question, you know, all old stuff used to have a bronze bush inside here, and obviously then they went to this design where it's a shrink pin. And I have to say, I think the reason for it purely was, if you can think, if you're making 1 million rods for 100,000 cars or whatever, or more, you've got to make a bronze bush. All the extra machining operations, the cost adds up. So by making them a shrink fit, must have saved the manufacturers a lot of money, you know, because like the Hillman's got like a bronze bush that's pressed inside there. It'll need to be honed. Then you've got circlips to supply and circlip grooves to manufacture. So it's just when you multiply it up over the hundreds of thousands of operations, it just made it too expensive. So there you go. Right, wonderful. We'll knock it on the end of that. Congratulations, YouTubers. You've made it to the end of Shrigleytube TV. Hope you enjoyed what you saw and you come back next Sunday to see some more. Have a great week and make sure you wear plenty of suntan lotion and a hat. Take care. Bye-bye.